Wow. So Campbell Soup is in some hot water right now. Let's talk about the crisis that's unfolding for the brand and how it's moving from the news feed into their organic search results and even influencing some generative AI responses, and then what that means for the brand as well as consumers. So, what happened is a couple weeks ago, an executive made some comments about the food's products, saying that they're bioengineered, 3D printed, and heavily processed foods. So that narrative has now made its way onto page one and even into position number two, ranking directly under the brand's name. So, given the higher visibility, consumers are now seeing that narrative, and that's driving them to search for things like, is Campbell soup considered ultra processed food? And Google confirms that, yes, it is. And its main summary and takeaway in its generative AI response is that Campbell soups are a classic example of ultra processed foods, a category many health experts advise limiting. So now you've got the generative response literally telling consumers to buy less of this brand's products, not something that is good for a company trying to sell more of its products. And they're also going to be searching things like what kind of chicken is in Campbell's chicken noodle soup, because they've heard that there could be bioengineered meat or 3D printed meat, and so they're just trying to confirm whether that's true or not. And now what's happening is Google is introducing a second unfavorable narrative here by listing as one of the ingredients in their soups mechanically separated chicken. And I don't really know what that is, and I'm sure most consumers don't. So they're probably going to search it to find out what that is. And they discover that it's a paste like poultry product. And it's pretty gross. And I'm not going to even read the rest of the description, but I'm sure that's not something that Campbell's wants to be advertised and connected with its products. And then, of course, if you find out what it is, consumers are likely to search which Campbell soups contain mechanically separated chicken. And now Google's telling them, well, here's a list of all of the different soups that contain this ingredient potentially. So as you can see, what's happening is this narrative is moving from a narrative about bioengineered meats in the soups, which was debunked and has been proven false by the company, but now is introducing additional unfavorable narratives. And those are going to affect consumer sentiment, the brand's reputation, and ultimately revenue in the company. If you want to learn more about the impacts on the brand, check out the article that I wrote, which I'm linking to in the comments. Thanks a lot.